Hi everyone, this is Coach Ganis from Olympus Pro Performance Coaching. Today's video is quite different from the previous ones. It contains basically more theory than actually showing you an exercise or anything like that. And that's because it's based in a common question that I've been asked in the last few videos about how basically we can incorporate, let's say, power versus endurance, and generally how to basically know when to do what. So yeah, this video is going to be quite short and to the point. I'm just going to go basically through a small presentation, and I will show you how and when to implement basically different methods through the principles of program designing. So one of the first things actually that we're looking for is know a bit about the rider. So if it's about yourself, then literally question yourself like, what do I need? What do I want to get out of my training? Okay, so that's the first thing. What you're looking to achieve. You want to increase your endurance. You're looking to increase your strength, your power, everything. And then obviously you use reverse engineering to go back and do it properly. So the next thing after that is know really well the sports needs analysis. So what I mean with this one is basically know exactly what you're going to face in your sport, how you're moving in your bike, how the bike would possibly react, how many minutes the race is, what kind of conditions you're going to race. You're going to race like weather conditions. You can have a lot of riders around you if it's motocross, or if it's mountain biking. It could be really rough terrain basically for 4 or 5 minutes, plus the weather. It's a lot of things that you need to consider, but because we're doing this sport basically for a long time, we most of us, we know what we're looking for from the sport. But yeah, we're looking for the elements around basically the sport, the internal factors and the external factors. Internal factors is within you, the external factors is around is your environment basically. Then the next thing that we're looking for is to make sure that whatever we do is basically trained, as I said many times before, for the sport, not for the gym. So it's very easy to start basically training and become really strong and efficient in the gym, but then going back on your bike and literally you can't actually finish the race properly and you gas out. And that's because you can be actually fit for something but not specifically for your sport. So make sure that the training that you follow is specific for your sport. So asking yourself what I'm looking to get out of my training. Do I want to increase my strength? Do I increase my power, my endurance, or everything? And then obviously make sure your training is based basically on doing the basics right, and avoid doing a shit show like the one I'm actually showing you now on the screen. And then when I say with the sport, it could be literally, as I showed you in the previous videos, like you increase basically the strength on your back. That's because obviously the back gets a lot of stress when you're on the bike. Then make sure you're doing the right exercises on that. That could be the deadlifts, so that could be a variation of the deadlifts, that could be pull-ups. It depends. It depends the person, it depends the history, basically the training history of the rider. Sometimes you might see things like that one basically that I'm showing you now, which is one of the guys that I was training for the mountain biking when he broke his elbow, and then we use more basically specific exercises that could mimic, but not being like a circus training or a shit show. So mimic basically the sport to a certain degree. So on that specifically exercise, the reason that we done the exercise, for example, is because after we finished with the rehabilitation, after we finished with the strength training, he still wasn't very confident about basically going through the impact on the bike, and it wasn't very confident on his skills. So we start basically doing a few exercises that could increase his confidence on the bike by basically increase the impact on his elbow and on his upper body in a controlled environment. And by saying controlled environment, in this kind of environment, it's hard to get injured again, because I supervise you as a coach, and then the same thing at the same time, it's not a highly impact movement, but it has enough impact to start basically increasing his confidence, and when he's going back to the bike, to be able to slowly increasing the confidence by basically doing again drops from the bike, like drops, jumps, going through rough terrains and stuff. Now moving through the performance pyramid, I've shown you that slide before in different ways. This is basically is about the principles of program designing. So when we're looking to to design a program or make sure you're doing the right workouts, we always follow the program designing. At least I do, and basically by saying that is you won't have everything pretty much from what you see there, more or less, but everything depends from the sport. So first of all, from the athlete, of the rider, and then from the sport, okay? You wanna make sure you implement a lot of mobility in your program, especially during the beginning of the off season. We make sure you can move properly and free of pain from your whole joints, like the range of movement of all your joints should be right. Increase your strength, and by saying that, increase the strength, which basically is full capacity, be able to have be able to lift basically at least one time your body weight. If you can lift it twice your body weight, that's absolutely great. That means you're proper strong. And then obviously make sure you have a good strength endurance as well, so your muscles has to be very conditioned. And again, it depends on the sport. Like if you're an endurance athlete, so and you need to be on the bike for a very, very long time, then obviously you need to focus a lot of your strength endurance. If you are a downhill rider, you still have to have a strong element of strength endurance, but we focus more on the actual strength and explosiveness. And then obviously the power, which I said about explosiveness. The power, which is basically comes close to the end of the off season, where basically by then we should be absolutely strong, and what we want basically is be able to convert all this strength into power and be able to do close to 1 RM basically of our actual, as I said, one maximum rep of what we can lift. And then at the same time, we focus a lot on the speed and skills. So on the speed and skills, again, it depends of the needs of the sport, but definitely we do skills a lot. And the skills basically is to be able to have a good coordination, good reflexive reaction, good balance. Is a lot of different elements that every sport has, and we need to make sure that we nail them as well. And then with all of these, we still want to have conditioning on the side. So always during the week we're doing some sort of conditioning. That basically means, in my terms, it means basically cardiovascular training. So we want to increase the stamina. We should be able to do 30 minutes motor, for example, without gassing out. And that's a combination of strength and stamina as well. Okay, so strength and conditioning. And then obviously as we're moving through the off season, we start having more elements into the conditioning. And the elements basically that we're looking for as well is interval training. Okay, so we're putting our body through different stress basically. And why is that happening? Because if we're thinking in cycles, the body basically is able to adapt pretty much in 4 or 5 weeks into the stress that we're putting to. So if you're consistent through these 4 or 5 weeks, your body adapts, okay? If your body adapts, basically means that whatever you're doing, it will start becoming quite easy. And because it becomes quite easy, you start reaching the plateau. So what we don't want to is actually reach plateau, because if you reach the plateau, that means basically that you stop progressing. But by changing a few things to the training, you continue basically applying different stress and different stimulus in your body. And by doing that, you increase your strength, you increase your conditioning, and you make sure you're having basically a good progression. Now, regarding basically how many reps and sets should I do on my workouts and how many reps and sets should I have on my program plans, it's a massively depends. So I can't give you an answer, like a solid answer on that one. And that's because it depends from you. It depends from your training history. It depends in which period of your training you are. Like, are you in the off season? Are you in the in season? Are you in the middle of the off season? It's so many different elements that you have to consider. So power versus endurance, that was a question really. So power versus endurance, it's two completely different things. If you're a motor rider, you need both, but you cannot have them at the same time. So you need to start basically by becoming strong enough, then increasing your endurance as well, and then as a final stage we actually reach the power. If you're trying to do both too much at the same time, like in the same cycle, you're not going to achieve it, because it's the, as you can see on the slide, is like on the one is the other side of the spectrum. So now regarding the endurance, if we want to achieve endurance, then basically we want high reps and low sets, and then the rest is quite short as well, so it's between 30 seconds to 60 seconds. And we train on the endurance, we train about 60%, basically 50 to 60% of our 1 RM, if we know what's the 1 RM, basically 1 maximum rep. If we want basically to achieve strength, so we want to become really strong, then we sit in the middle. So in the middle is basically you're doing 5 by 5, 4 by 8, so 4 sets by 8, 5 sets by 5, and then the rest basically is about 2 minutes. If you're a novice, if you're quite new to the strength, you might need to get more rest basically, or just rest as much as you need before the next set. Then if we want power, by the way, I didn't actually explain you about the strength, about the percentage. Then on the percentage, you want about 70 to 85% of basically. So you want to leave about 70 to 85%. Then on power is the other end. We're looking basically high sets, so lots of sets with very low reps. Okay, and that's because we want to apply maximum effort as fast as possible in quite heavy load, and because of that we demand a lot of power and a lot of strength and a lot of effort. So that's why we want the long rest as well. So on the rest, basically we're looking for about 3 to 4 minutes, or even longer if you need to, because we be able to perform again pretty much your maximal effort. So you don't want to be really fatigued on that one. Okay, so that's it guys for today. I hope I answered the questions. It's quite hard to explain you in 10 minutes video or 15 minutes video about the program design, the principles of program designing. It's something that you learn through the experience. I've done this for the last 10 years now, so it's quite hard to implement everything and put everything in 10 minutes. The main point I want you to take from that is make sure that you always ask yourself, what do I want to get out of my training? And then once you know that, and you know the actual what and why, then you can actually reverse engineer it and start basically working towards your goals. If you want to learn more, if you want more guidance and more structure in your programs, we do have online programs, and we help a lot of riders across the world. And you train directly with me, so I'll be coaching you monthly. So please feel free and visit our website, which is olympuspro.co.uk, and you will find there the programs. If you have more questions, if you have any questions generally, please let me know in the comments, or email me on the info@olympuspro.co.uk, or direct message me basically through the social media. And don't forget to follow us as well on the Instagram, Facebook, and please subscribe on the button as well. I'm doing this video for you guys, so the way actually you can support me is just follow me on the YouTube, and that will actually help me as well making more videos for you, and help you getting more understanding about your training. And yeah, let me know what you want to watch next. And until then, thank you very much for watching again today, and yeah, see you next time. Take care. Cheers.